My disloyal girlfriend came back smiling after her secret date with someone else, but found a message from me showing I had uncovered everything. Be me, 29-year-old Tyler. Living in Miami for several years now. Never regretted the move. This city with its eternal sun and ocean beaches. Perfect for my lifestyle. Work as marketing manager for big corporation. Making good money, high salary. Live in prestigious area. Drive expensive car. Zero sacrifices on pleasure. Life seems perfect from outside. Like perfect Instagram picture. Been with Jessica for 8 years. Married for 5 of those. Everything seemed solid. Or so I thought. She left the front door open behind her. Remember the sound of her heels clicking softly on wood floor. Slowing down as she stepped into living room. Calling out in that tone. Breezy, careless. Like nothing in world could touch her. I'm back, she sang. Had no idea what was waiting for her. Not yet. Didn't say a word. Didn't even look at her at first. Sitting at dining table, elbows planted. Staring at single sheet of paper. There were more, of course. Dozens, maybe more. But laid one out right in center of table. The one that mattered most. Still image from security camera. Cropped and zoomed. Derek's face. Her face. Both too close. Both smiling. She stopped walking when she saw it. Mid-step. Like someone hit pause on her entire body. Still didn't look at her. Heard faint sound of her breath catch in throat. Not loud, not dramatic. Just sharp and ugly silence. Then slowly her voice cracked the air. What? What is this? Stupid question. She already knew. Finally looked up at her. Her makeup was still fresh. That bothered me more than it should have. Mascara perfectly curled. Foundation not even smudged, despite whatever she'd been doing hour earlier. Her shirt was little wrinkled though. Creased at shoulder. Way that didn't match how she wore seatbelt. Something about that wrinkle told truth. More honestly than anything she was about to say. Sit, I said. She blinked. Deer in headlights kind of blink. Watched her hand tighten around purse strap. Like she was about to run. But where? Door was behind her, wide open. Sun pouring in like worlds still made sense. Gestured again. Sit. She stepped closer, slow, cautious. Could almost hear her calculating. Thinking how she could pivot this. What she could say. What I might not know. How much I'd seen. But she sat across from me. Her fingers fidgeted on edge of table. Didn't hand her anything. Didn't need to. She reached forward, pulled photo closer and stared at it. Her nostrils flared. Not out of guilt. Not even fear. But anger. Because she was exposed. Because I had seen it. Documented it. Printed it. Framed it with timestamps and irrefutable proof. Still, she tried. Baby, she said. Her voice softened. Dipped into that rehearsed tremble she'd always used when lying. It's not what it looks like. She reached for my hand. I pulled mine away. Her fingers hovered in air, humiliated. You want to try that again? I said. Her jaw tightened. You're spying on me now. I stared. Nothing. Not a twitch. Not a blink. Gave her the silence she hated most. The kind that left her alone with her reflection. You think I'm cheating? Is that what this is? Her voice rose. Defensive now. Indignant. The classic flip. She always did this. Always went from cornered to cruel. Like she was changing shoes. Let her finish her tantrum. Then reached under the stack. Slid next paper forward. Hotel bill, Tuesday, room 218. Derek's name. Then another. Screenshot of texts. Hers. You made me feel things I haven't felt in years. Then another. Photo of her leaving Derek's car. 5 blocks from our house. Wearing same clothes she told me. She'd spilled wine on at co-worker's baby shower. Then I leaned forward. Finally speaking again. I didn't think I needed to spy, but I was wrong. She didn't speak this time. Watched it happen. Watched her begin to crack. Not fall apart. No, not cry. That would have been human. What she did was worse. She switched off. Emotion vanished from her face, like light switch had been flipped. In its place was something colder, something rehearsed. Okay, she said. Flat and quiet. So now what? That sentence. So now what? Not I'm sorry. Not it's over. Not how could I? Not even lie about it being a mistake. No remorse, no explanation. Just that, like it was my job to figure out ending. To stories she wrote behind my back. I looked at her. This woman I used to make tea for every morning. One who used to call me at lunch, just to say she missed me. One who held my hand in hospital waiting rooms. Who cried in my arms day her dog died. Same woman who had just spent her afternoon. Getting very familiar with man. Who signs his emails warmest regards. I said nothing. And in that moment I saw it. She wasn't worried about losing me. She was worried about what I'd take with me. She didn't cry. She didn't beg. She didn't even pretend to reach for excuse. Just sat there. Arms crossed now. Like she was waiting on an Uber. Like this was some minor inconvenience I had dropped on her desk between nail appointments. I asked you a question, she said again. Like I owed her an answer. Now what? I leaned back in chair. Wanted to feel something sharp. Rage, heartbreak, maybe even panic. But all I felt was the hum. That numb buzz in your chest. When your mind is still crashing. But your body has already stepped outside wreckage. Her eyes didn't look sad. They looked annoyed. "This is what you've been doing behind my back?" I asked, my voice quieter than I thought it would be. "This lying to my face and screwing guy? Who sends stock tips in group chats?" She tilted her head. "Don't be dramatic, Tyler." "Dramatic?" I nearly laughed. Not real laugh. One of those dry, sarcastic exhales that you let out when your brain gives up trying to process. "That's your response." "What do you want me to say?" She shot back. "You already made up your mind." "No," I found the truth. "You just spent last 5 months making up your mind." She stood up then, slowly, like she was on stage, like she needed height to get control of room again. "You were never around," she said flatly. "You were always working late. You were always tired, always stressed. I tried to talk to you, Tyler. You shut me out for months." There it was, the shift, the gaslight, the moment where I became villain in her affair. I stood too calm. "You mean when you started turning off your location? When you'd come home and get in shower before even saying hello? When you stopped looking me in the eye at dinner?" She flinched. "You think I wanted to work those hours?" I kept my voice even. "You think I didn't miss us? You think I didn't lay awake wondering, what the hell happened to you?" She looked away just for a second, but it was enough. The silence between us suddenly felt sharp. She whispered, "It just happened." "No," I said. "You let it happen repeatedly." And there, right there, her mask slipped. "Oh, please," she muttered, arms folded again. "I didn't plan this." Derek listened. He made me feel seen. He wasn't perfect, but at least he didn't look at me like roommate. That word, roommate. After everything, after 8 years of loyalty, after birthdays, funerals, vacations, where I carried her bags through airports, while she scrolled Instagram. After the miscarriage we went through together, the nights we cried in silence, holding each other like lifelines. I was just roommate now. "I guess he didn't mind lying to his wife either," I said. That got her. Small flinch. She tried to hide it, but it was there. And for first time her voice cracked. Not with emotion, but spite. "Fine, you know what? Yes, I screwed up, but so did you. You pushed me away." She was trying to rewrite history in real time. Frame it all like an accident. Like I had left door open, and she just wandered out and fell into Derek's arms. I didn't let her finish. I pulled out manila envelope, one she didn't know about yet. Inside was copy of burner phone logs Travis had found, calendar invite for next week's yoga retreat. That just so happened to be at same resort. Derek was scheduled to visit for conference. Same dates, same city. Her face paled. "I was going to tell you," she blurted. Hands up like I was about to cuff her. "When after your spiritual awakening in hotel hot tub." She bit her lip. That same lip she kissed me with this morning, before leaving to go screw another man in daylight. "You really went through my things." I stared at her. "You destroyed this marriage, Jessica. I'm just sweeping up glass." For a moment we stood there in silence. And then she said it. The thing that twisted knife in my ribs. Made it all real. "Well, if you'd paid more attention to me, maybe I wouldn't have needed Derek." That was it. The line, the point of no return. I don't know what I expected her to say, but it wasn't that. That cold, hollow line she dropped, like it was throwaway insult from some trashy drama. "If you'd paid more attention to me." She said it like she meant it. Like I had driven her into arms of married man, with my silence and my spreadsheets. Like I deserved this. Something shifted in me then. Not snap, not anger. Just heavy, irreversible settling. This wasn't confusion anymore. This wasn't shock. It was clarity. "You needed Derek?" I repeated, voice flat. "You needed the guy who calls you kitten in texts. And spells definitely with an A." She rolled her eyes. Rolled them like I was being petty, like I was the problem. "I'm not doing this with you," she said, turning to grab her bag. "Oh no, you're not walking away from this," I said, stepping around table. "Not until you stop lying and own what you've done." She froze, spun on her heel. "What more do you want me to say, Tyler? I made mistake. I was lonely. I felt neglected. He was there. It happened. End of story." "No, it kept happening," I shot back. "You didn't trip and fall into his bed once. You scheduled it weekly. You booked it like damn doctor's appointment." Her lips tightened into line. She crossed her arms again. That same tired defense. She always used when she didn't want to admit. "She was wrong. You weren't giving me what I needed," she said slowly. "You haven't for a long time. And instead of telling me that, you started playing house with someone else." "I tried talking to you." "No, you hinted. You dropped vague complaints between Netflix episodes and expected me to read your mind. While you texted him under covers at night, I stepped closer." She didn't move. "I gave you everything, Jessica. Years of my life, trust, loyalty. I let you in, and you used that to cover your tracks, while you planned little getaways. With man who lies to his kids, same way you lie to me." Her jaw clenched, but still no apology. Not even flicker of guilt. Just more of that cold performative detachment. And then she said something. That was supposed to hurt me, but it didn't. It just proved what I already knew. "You've always made everything so heavy, Tyler. Every conversation feels like trial. I needed something easy, fun. Easy, fun. That's what I was competing with. Not love, not passion. Convenience. You threw away decade for fun. I was tired of being only one trying, she said. You stopped seeing me, and maybe there was grain of truth buried in that. Maybe I did stop seeing her. But what she didn't understand, what she never wanted to understand, was that she stopped being her long before I stopped looking. And she never gave me chance to save her. I stepped back, picked up final piece of evidence. I hadn't shown her yet. Printout of text she sent him last weekend. If he ever finds out, I'll just spin it. He's too passive to leave. I held it up. She read it. Her mouth parted slightly. Like maybe, just maybe, she'd finally gone too far. Was that fun too? I asked. She didn't answer, but her silence said enough. She didn't say word. Not when I showed her that message. Not when I stepped back and let silence stretch into something brittle and uncomfortable. The woman who could run her mouth for hours, when we argued about thermostat or laundry, had suddenly gone mute. Good, let her feel it. I let the paper drop to floor between us. You really thought I wouldn't find out, I said. Quieter now. No edge left. You were so sure I'd stay. That I'd roll over, take the hit, and just keep pretending. She still wouldn't meet my eyes. That smug self-certainty she always carried was gone now, replaced by something I hadn't seen on her in years. Doubt, but not guilt, just fear of losing control. I walked past her to counter, grabbed small cardboard box I had stashed beneath sink. It wasn't big. It didn't need to be. She turned slowly when she heard tape rip. What is that? She asked. Your things, I said. The ones that were in our room. Your drawer, your closet, bathroom cabinet. I packed what I could. Her face twisted. You're kicking me out? No, I said, placing box on table. I'm asking you to leave. That's very different, she laughed. Not real laugh. This nasty, bitter scoff. That shot straight through middle of my chest. Oh, now you want to act like man after all this. There it was again. That bile she always kept on standby. The bitterness she spat anytime. She didn't get her way. You don't get to do this, she snapped. This is my house, too. No, it's our house. Or at least it was. You made it his when you brought him into it behind my back. I never brought him here, she said quickly. I tilted my head. That's supposed to make me feel better. Her mouth opened, then shut. She had no script for this part. No clever lie. No damage control. She had spent so long being one step ahead. She forgot what it felt like to be exposed. I have nowhere to go, she said softer now, her voice threading in desperation. Then call your yoga partner. I said, I'm sure Derek's got spare room. Between the wife and 2 kids he's lying to. Her lips pressed into thin line. You're being cruel. No, I said, finally locking eyes with her. Cruel would have been cheating. Cruel would have been lying for 5 months and treating you like idiot while smiling in your face. Cruel would have been gaslighting the person who loved you into thinking he was the problem. She said nothing. I walked around table again, passed her toward front door. I opened it. Take the box, I said, and go. She just stood there. Jessica, I added. Sharper now. Don't make me call someone to come help you. Still, she didn't move. Her eyes flicked toward table. Then door, then back to me. She looked like she was about to cry, but no tears came, and I realized it wasn't grief. It was pride. Her ego couldn't handle this. She was losing, and for someone like her, that was worse kind of betrayal. She finally stepped forward, picked up box with this wounded dignity. That was so fake. It nearly made me sick. You're going to regret this, she muttered. No, I said. You're just mad you don't get to walk away first. She didn't reply. She turned and walked out, heels clicking again. Same way she came in, only now there was no hum in her voice. No swagger in her step, just silence. I closed door behind her, and for first time in months, house felt real again. I stood there for a long time after door shut, hands still resting on knob, like I expected her to knock again, to pound on it, to scream, to cry, to do something. But she didn't. Just silence. Not even sound of her car engine. I didn't check. Didn't want to see if she was still standing out there, waiting for me to change my mind. That part of me, the part that used to chase after her, smooth over every blow-up, try to fix things even when I wasn't one who broke them. That part was gone. I walked back into kitchen. The envelope still sat on table. Half the photos spilling out across wood, like spilled ash. I stared at them again. Not because I needed more proof, but because I still couldn't believe how far she'd gone. The angles, the timestamps, the goddamn smiles. She looked happy, not guilty, not hesitant, not conflicted. Happy! Like she'd finally exhaled, after holding her breath for 8 years with me. It made me wonder if any of it had ever been real. I picked up my phone. There were 2 unread messages. Jessica, I don't have place to go tonight. Are you seriously doing this? Jessica, 5 minutes later. Fine. Hope you enjoy being alone with your paranoia. Paranoia. That one burned. She'd used that word more than once. In last few months, whenever I brought up her schedule. Her sudden love for late meetings and group yoga. Her turning phone face down at dinner. She'd scoff and call me paranoid. Insecure, controlling. And I believed her. I swallowed that poison with a smile, thinking maybe I was just being clingy. Maybe I needed to back off, give her space. God, I hate how stupid I was. I put phone down. No reply. She could sit in her car all night for all I cared. I was done speaking her language. Half-truths and guilt trips, disguised as affection. I went upstairs slowly. Every step felt like memory trying to crawl up my spine. We bought this place together. I remembered carrying her across threshold, like some old school cliche. Her laughing and telling me she felt like she was in movie. We painted these walls. We picked out curtains. We argued over rugs. We made life here and she infected it. I opened bedroom door. Our bed, my bed now was still made. The sheets, the pillows, little vanilla spray she liked to spritz. On her side of blanket, I stripped them off, tore every trace of her from that bed, like it was rotting wood. Sheets went straight into trash bag. I didn't want to wash them. I wanted them gone. Mattress cover, too. Her pillow. Her perfume bottle on nightstand. I pulled open her drawer, still full of little things she left behind. Lip balm, hair ties. Cheap necklace I gave her on our 3rd anniversary. I grabbed it all, dumped it into same bag. When I was done, room looked hollow, but it also looked clean. It was almost midnight when I finally sat down. At edge of bed, exhausted but wired. I hadn't cried. I thought there'd be some dramatic breakdown, some crash after adrenaline wore off. But no, just this low, steady throb of betrayal pulsing through me. And underneath it, something else, something like relief. Not because I was glad this happened, but because truth was finally out and open. No more lies, no more pretending. Just me and long, quiet road ahead. That I didn't sleep that night. I tried. God knows I tried. I laid there on stripped mattress, in empty room, staring at ceiling. Faint hum of fridge downstairs. Only sound in house now. It used to be her breathing. Sometimes she snored lightly. Barely audible unless you were listening for it. I realized then I had been listening for it. Every night. Even in sleep. Some part of me was tuned to her. And now there was just silence. At 3:17 a.m., I got up. My body moved before I even knew what I was doing. I went to guest room. One we always said we'd turn into office. But never did. I opened closet. Pulled down box labeled Tyler stuff. Old journals, notebooks, backup drives. Inside was leather-bound one. I hadn't touched in years. I flipped it open. There in my handwriting were entries. From when Jessica and I first started dating. She makes me want to be softer. I don't think I've ever been seen like this before. I almost laughed or gagged. It was hard to tell which. I kept reading. One entry caught me off guard. Dated right after our honeymoon. She cried this morning. Said she didn't think she deserved me. I told her I'd spend rest of our lives proving she did. I meant it. I really had. Through the fights, financial strain. Years we couldn't get pregnant. Moments we nearly gave up. I had meant every word I ever said to her. But she didn't even flinch when she lit match. And dropped it on everything we built. My phone buzzed at 4:02 a.m. It was her again. Jessica, I'm staying at Casey's tonight. I need to come by tomorrow for my things. Please don't touch anything else. The tone, please don't touch anything else. Like I was one being reckless. Like I was one who crossed line. Her things. She was lucky I hadn't dragged them to curb. In middle of night. But I didn't reply. That morning I left before she showed up. I couldn't stand idea of seeing her again. Not yet. I didn't want her crying. I didn't want her shouting. I didn't want anything from her anymore. Very idea of her presence in that house felt like rotten walls. I went to my brother's place. Connor, 2 years younger. Married, 2 kids. He opened door in sweats and coffee-stained t-shirt. He didn't ask what happened. He just looked at me and said, "You staying while?" I nodded. "Yeah, if that's okay." He clapped me on back. "You're not sleeping on couch." "I'll clear guest room." That's the thing about real family. You don't need to explain disaster. They see wreckage and just start pulling you out of it. That night I crashed hard in Connor's guest bed. Didn't even take off my shoes. Just dropped into mattress. And let sleep hit me like brick. But not before I saw it. One final message from her. "Jessica, I'm picking up rest of my things tomorrow. Please don't be here. Please don't be here." Coward. Even now she couldn't look me in eyes and face what she'd done. She wanted clean exit. Free of consequence. She wanted to vanish without weight of reality. Crashing down on her. But this isn't movie. This is my life. And tomorrow she was finally going to see what truth looked like, standing in ruins she created. She showed up next day right on time. 11 a.m. sharp. I didn't listen to her text. I wasn't going to vanish from my own house, so she could ghost her way out of accountability. No. I sat in living room, calm, composed, dressed like I had somewhere important to be. Even though I didn't. Not yet. She walked in with cardboard box, and sunglasses still on, even though it was cloudy. I could smell her perfume before I saw her. Same one I used to love. One that now made me nauseous. When she saw me sitting there, she froze in doorway. "You said you wouldn't be here?" she muttered. I said nothing, I replied. "You asked me not to be here." Her jaw tightened. She stepped inside and closed door, setting her box down by stairs. "I just want to get my stuff and go." "Then do that." She didn't move for a second. She was looking around, taking inventory. Maybe couch was bare? Her framed photos were gone. Her books from shelf already boxed. I had done half work for her. You went through my things, she said after a moment. I stood up, walked toward window. I removed your things from my room. My closet, my house. What's left is what you left behind. You had no right. I turned. No right. No right to clean space you tainted. You lost your rights when you started playing dress-up. In hotel rooms with someone else's husband. She flinched, but only barely. I don't want to fight, she said. Finally taking off sunglasses. Her eyes were bloodshot, not from crying. I knew her better than that. Probably from lack of sleep. Or some rushed performance, in front of whoever she was crashing with. Casey or maybe even Derek. Honestly, it didn't matter anymore. I'm not here to fight, I said. I'm here to watch you leave properly this time. She looked around again. Her eyes falling on envelope I'd left on kitchen counter. Same one from 2 days ago. She walked over to it slowly, and opened it again, like she needed to remind herself. That fantasy was over. You're not even going to try? She asked, not looking at me. Try what? I said. To win back someone who lied to me daily for half year. Who used my trust as camouflage. Who planned future around how stupid she thought I was. She turned back toward me, and for first time her voice cracked. Not with fake sadness, but real anger. I was miserable, Tyler. I didn't feel wanted. You never saw me anymore. I felt invisible. No, I said coldly. You didn't feel invisible. You felt bored. That shut her up. You wanted to be desired, worshipped. You wanted to feel 25 again. And you found someone dumb enough to tell you what you wanted to hear? And instead of coming to me, your husband, you picked path that made you feel new. Her face contorted. I thought she might cry for real this time. But no. She swallowed it down and said, it wasn't supposed to be serious. I stepped closer, but it was serious enough to lie. Serious enough to sleep with him on Tuesdays. And kiss me goodnight like nothing happened. Serious enough to risk everything we built for nothing. I didn't plan to fall for him, but you planned everything else. She blinked. So what now? I didn't hesitate. You take your boxes, you take your lies, and you leave. No more texts, no more calls, no more updates about your feelings. And the divorce, it's already in motion. That stunned her. You're serious? Yes, for first time in long time. I'm being very, very serious. Her face dropped. Not out of heartbreak, out of defeat. And that's when I realized she still didn't think I'd go through with it. That even after everything, she believed I'd fold. That I needed her too much to follow through. Wrong. She gathered her things in silence after that. No more speeches, no more pleas. Just scraping sound of boxes and final removal of liar from my life. When she left, she didn't say goodbye. Good, neither did I. She was gone by noon. Door clicked shut behind her with no ceremony. No lingering glance. No, we can still talk. No fake apology as parting gift. Just echo of her heels down walkway. Soft slam of her trunk. And then hum of her engine fading into distance. I stood in foyer for a long time, still listening, half expecting her to turn around. But she didn't. She left like she lived those last 5 months. Fast, calculated, and without looking back. I wish I could say I felt free. But what I felt was heavier than that. Like someone had peeled away my skin and left all nerves exposed. First thing I did was open windows. Every single one. House smelled like her. The vanilla spray, that ridiculous coconut shampoo. Floral dryer sheets she insisted on buying. I opened them all and let cold July air sweep in. Silence became wind, and that helped. Then I started moving. I stripped bed again, this time down to frame. Hauled mattress out of room by myself. One awkward lurch at a time. Replaced every towel, every damn dish. She picked out from that overpriced home store. Fake eucalyptus plant, she claimed. Tied the room together. Trash. She was everywhere. But now I was undoing her. I wasn't doing it out of spite. I was reclaiming my space. Memories were hardest to deal with. Not framed ones. We never really had many pictures of, but invisible ones. Her humming while folding laundry. Her bare feet on counter, while she gossiped about coworkers. Her towel always hanging crooked on rack. It wasn't grief. It was erosion. This slow, invisible wearing down. Of everything I thought was solid. Doorbell rang around 2 p.m. I wasn't expecting anyone. When I opened door, it was Connor. My brother, holding 12-pack and pizza box, like it was damn care package from front lines. I figured today might be rough, he said, stepping in without waiting for invite. I didn't say anything at first, just shut door behind him, and followed him into kitchen. He popped open beer and slid one across counter. I always hated her, he said casually. After first sip, I looked up. He shrugged. She had that fake nice thing, like she practiced her laugh in mirror. You could have said something. He took another sip. Would you have listened? I didn't answer. We sat in silence for a while. Him eating, me just holding bottle. Not really drinking. Eventually I asked question. I hadn't said out loud yet. What if I was the problem? Connor put down slice. You weren't. How do you know? Because I know you. And I saw how much you gave her. How much you let slide. But what if she was right? What if I stopped trying? She didn't want you to try, he said. She wanted you to chase. There's difference. One's real, other's game. That hit harder than I expected. We talked for hours after that. About nothing. About everything. It was first real conversation I'd had in weeks. That didn't feel like test. When he left, I felt little lighter. Still raw, still ruined. But for first time, I didn't feel alone in it. That night, I sat on porch with lights off. Just me and dark. And I let myself think about future. Not one we planned, one I was about to rebuild. Days that followed blurred together. Quiet, mechanical, stripped of rhythm. But still moving. That was strangest part? Life didn't stop, not even for betrayal. Sun kept rising. Bills still showed up. Dishes still needed washing. But something had changed in me. There was shift. Dull ache beneath surface. Not sharp like first impact, but persistent like your body remembering pain. Even after wound has closed, Jessica didn't contact me again. Not call, not text. Not even passive-aggressive social media post. Designed to get my attention. She vanished just like I told her to. But that didn't mean she was gone. Everywhere I went, I saw her. Not physically, no, just residue. I'd walk past corner coffee shop. And remember how she used to steal sips from my cup. And pretend she didn't like oat milk. I'd hear song on radio. She used to hum while doing makeup. I'd open fridge and find damn jar of artichoke dip. She bought every week and never finished. Grief has no logic. It doesn't follow path. It loops and stutters and throws curveballs. When you're just trying to make it through grocery run. Without breaking down in front of cucumbers. One afternoon, about a week after she left, I came home and found padded envelope on porch. No name, no note. Inside were keys to house and her wedding ring. No explanation, just metal and silence. I stared at that ring for what felt like hour. That stupid little circle that used to mean everything. I remember saving for it, hiding it in drawer beneath my socks, rehearsing proposal speech in my car, until I could say it without stuttering. And now it sat there cold and empty, like it had never meant thing. I didn't cry, but I did something I hadn't done since this all started. I got angry. Not yelling, not breaking dishes. Something deeper, righteous, focused. I took ring, walked upstairs, pulled open bottom drawer of my desk, and grabbed black leather folder where I'd kept all divorce papers I'd started filing. And I signed every single one of them. No hesitation, no second guessing. Just my name again and again, as if carving myself out of contract. I never agreed to. I didn't tell her, didn't text, didn't warn her. Let paperwork speak for itself. That night, I went out alone. Bar I hadn't been to in years. I wasn't looking for conversation. Wasn't trying to numb anything. I just wanted to sit in place, where no one knew me as Jessica's husband. I ordered drink, sat at end of bar. Watch people laugh, flirt, lie to each other about their jobs and intentions. And for first time in long time, I didn't envy them because I wasn't pretending anymore. I was done pretending. 3 weeks after she left, I found her sweater in dryer. It was blue one with ripped sleeve. She always wore when she was hungover, or pretending to be cozy. It smelled like dryer sheets. And that trace of her perfume, that refused to fully fade. I held it for just 1 second, then shoved it into trash without thinking. That's how it had to be now. No more keeping pieces of her, like they were souvenirs from war. I never signed up to fight. No more trying to decode past, looking for where it broke. It broke because she broke it. She looked at everything we built, and decided it wasn't exciting enough. Not shiny enough, not new. So she lit match, and now I wasn't sweeping up ashes anymore. I was rebuilding. Divorce paperwork moved fast. Too fast, honestly. Turns out when infidelity's involved, courts don't waste time. My lawyer, sharp, calm woman named Amanda, barely asked questions. She glanced at folder of evidence I handed her. Photos, texts, receipts, and simply said this won't take long. I asked her once halfway through our second meeting if she ever got tired of watching people unravel. She looked at me for beat and said, "No, what gets me is how many people stay." That stuck with me because I almost did stay. If I hadn't followed my gut, if I hadn't asked for help, if I'd kept convincing myself that weirdness was just stress or hormones or phase, I'd still be living in that lie, sleeping next to someone who looked me in the eye and called me baby while texting another man under table. It made me nauseous, but it also made me grateful. One night I sat on back porch with beer in hand and thought about who I was before her. Not Tyler who got cheated on. Not Tyler who built life with woman, who burned it to ground. Just me. Version of myself I used to know. One who loved long drives and ugly dive bars. And Sunday morning pancakes with too much syrup. One who dreamed big, who didn't need anyone's approval. Who didn't shrink to keep someone else happy. That guy wasn't gone. He'd just been quiet. Buried under 1,000 compromises and fake smiles. And it's okay. I understand nods. At end of empty arguments, I looked up at stars that night. Air cool and still. And for first time since she left, I let myself miss her. Not because I wanted her back, but because I needed to finally feel it. Really feel the absence, the hole, the betrayal. Then let it pass through me. I whispered to no one, "Goodbye, Jessica." And it didn't echo. It just ended clean. Day divorce was finalized, felt like funeral and rebirth. Wrapped in same moment. I didn't go to court. My lawyer handled everything. Jessica signed. No fight, no contest. She must have known she didn't have leg to stand on. Maybe she didn't care anymore. Maybe Derek was promising her some new life, filled with hotel sheets and secrets, whispered in parking lots. I didn't ask, didn't want to know. All I got was email from Amanda at 2:12 p.m. Subject: finalized. Body: it's done. You're free. Free. That word hit me like punch and parachute. At same time, I stared at it for long while reading it over and over, like I needed it to be real, like I needed that confirmation, that she couldn't hurt me anymore, that she no longer had access to my future. I got in my car and drove. No destination, just forward. Sun was out, sky soft blue. I hadn't really noticed in weeks. I drove with windows down, music low, mind blank. Halfway through drive, I stopped at this little roadside diner. We used to pass on way to her parents' house. We never went inside. She always said it looked sketchy, but I always wanted to. So I pulled in, walked in alone, sat at booth and ordered pancakes and black coffee. They were incredible. I ate slowly, soaking in silence. Comfort of anonymity. No one here knew me. No one looked at me like I was guy whose wife cheated. I wasn't headline or pity story. I was just man eating pancakes on his own terms. Afterward, I kept driving. Ended up at Quiet Lake just outside town. One I hadn't visited since high school. I used to come here when I needed to think, back when life felt overwhelming in simpler ways. Failing grades, stupid fights with friends. My dad's silence after I told him. I didn't want to join family business. I parked, stepped out, and sat on hood of my car watching water, and I let myself be. No plans, no pressure, no pretending. Just me, the lake, and slow, quiet kind of peace that I hadn't felt in months. I thought about what I'd say to Jessica if she ever reached out again, then realized I wouldn't say anything. Not out of anger, not out of pride, just because I didn't need to. There was nothing left to say. She made her choices, and now I was making mine. But it's been 2 months since Jessica walked out of my life, and I let her. Ring is gone. Her perfume finally faded from curtains. Vanilla spray replaced with sandalwood. Playlist she used to put on during Sunday cleaning deleted. My house doesn't feel like ours anymore. Feels like mine, and it's quiet here. Peaceful. There's no tension thickening air. No second-guessing words I say. No waiting for shoe to drop. Every time her phone buzzes, just stillness and more surprisingly clarity. I've learned more in these 2 months than I did in last 2 years of our marriage. About myself, about boundaries, about how easy it is to start shrinking when someone you love starts treating you like you're in way. I know now that love isn't supposed to feel like convincing someone to stay. It's not supposed to be built on surveillance and suspicion, on keeping tabs and hiding receipts. Love isn't test. It's not supposed to feel like balancing act, where you keep bleeding just to keep other person satisfied. What Jessica did, what she chose, wasn't accident. It wasn't slip. It was consistent, deliberate betrayal. One she layered with lies, excuses, and cheap little performances, meant to distract me while she crafted life in secret. But here's what I've come to understand. She didn't break me. She broke us, but I'm still here standing, breathing, building again. I've started running, joined gym. I go out on Friday nights, not to drink or flirt or distract myself, but just to exist with people, with laughter, with reminder that there's life beyond betrayal. And I've reconnected with old friends. People I pushed away without realizing it, because all my energy went into patching holes. In relationship that was already sinking. I even went on date last week. Nothing serious, just coffee. But it felt real, easy. No lies hanging in air. No undercurrents of resentment. Just 2 people talking, smiling, being seen. I don't know what future holds. And for first time in long time, I'm okay with that. If you're reading this and going through something similar, let me say this. You don't need to stay loyal to someone who weaponizes your loyalty. You don't owe someone your silence while they destroy you with theirs. And you are not weak for walking away. You're stronger for knowing when it's time to stop bleeding for someone who wouldn't even hand you bandage. Jessica left, but I stayed. And now I'm finally beginning again. Tyler,